One, two, three, four.
What is up, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with Brothers.
Breakfast with Brothers. What's up, party people? Hope the clan is doing well. Hope the vibes are immaculate.
Yeah!
What are
So
we
today we
chatting
got-
about with the people today, homeboy?
Well, you cut me off. I was about to say it. No, I'm only joking. We're talking about Area 51 today. Seems like we're on a kick for conspiracy theories, huh?
All the best ones, too. Flat Earth, moon landing. I mean, Area 51's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I remember the Scooby-Doo special about Area 51. You remember that one?
Classic, dude. Wasn't that like an extended episode, too?
It was like a movie. I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was like a movie that they put on Cartoon Network and such. Yeah, that was a good movie. I enjoyed that one.
I remember that one. They had there was a big event they were hosting up there or something, and there were people that were playing aliens and trying to scare off all the concert goers or something like that.
Yeah, it was, let's see. It was when Shaggy met that lady and, like, fell in love with her. And they were, like, fighting off the MPs and such, like, trying to get into, like, the special places and all that. Turns out, I'm pretty sure it turns out that lady was, like, an alien or something like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was a good movie, I'm not going to lie. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about aliens.
They're hiding some other secrets, I'm sure. I was thinking they're probably also hiding some super secret tech in some fashion. Of course, the aliens and everything, and they released a lot of info. When was that? A year ago now? Maybe a little longer? 2 years? Probably almost.
Oh, when the CIA essentially released all the documentation, or at least stated that there is existence of aliens.
Yeah, aliens, UFOs are real, etc. I never looked too deep into the information, but it was all just some surface stuff that I checked out as far as like what they released and what they showed the people.
Yeah, the CIA released a lot of documents, some of which was regarding, you know, aliens and UFOs. Other documentation also included, like, learning how to... There was some weird documentation. I believe some of the documentation was talking about, like, mind control or the ability to, like, read minds or... What is it? Telekinesis? The ability for telekinesis. Yeah, it was interesting. So I'm not sure how much is believable, how much is real, if this is something that is the truth. But I will say, when they came out and talked about the existence of aliens, it was almost like everyone already knew when they were explaining themselves. So, I mean, it's hard to think that we are alone, but it is also, you know, maybe it's more of like a comfort thing to, like, understand that we might not be alone. Or maybe, let me rephrase that.
I was going to say,
I think,
for some people it might not be so comfortable.
right, yeah. Well, I mean, like, in the sense of, you know, how could we be all alone in the universe, considering that,
right?
You know, with everything. So I think in some minds, they might think, like, well, aliens have to be real, as, like, the understanding, like, well, we're not, you know, I don't want to be the only species in the entire universe sort of thing. But then there's also the people that believe in aliens because they've either witnessed it or they feel as though there can't be no other intelligent life in our universe, kind of thing. Like, it's like that can't be possible. There has to be.
No, that's fair. I mean, if they you know, sit on that, and for me, I guess it would make me comfortable to think that there's other things out there. I mean, it's one thing to be a little scared of it, but also, since I don't really know about it, it's kind of just like one of those things where I've always been a believer, you know, so I guess in that way it is comforting. But I don't know. Everyone's different, and yeah, I'm not going to label anyone as why they're not comfortable or what have you, but I see what
Yeah, it's kind of like the essence of um, like thinking that. Well, let's just take an example to like understand where I'm kind of going with it. Like the idea that there, we'll just say a blasted one, like an afterlife. The comfort of that, knowing that there is an afterlife.
Sure.
Those that believe in an afterlife gives them hope, gives them relief to think that there's somewhere that they're going.
Yeah.
So like that same instance, like there's something else out there. We're not the only ones here, sort of thing. Some people might look at
we're all in this pile together.
yeah, some people might look at it like that. Others might think like, okay, well, there has to be something, and then others might just completely not believe. And there's definitely still like non-believers out there. Personally, I think there could be. I'm leaving the answer open to until I truly see proof in front of me, or my friends have experienced something. Like, of course, I would believe them.
Right.
But until I've kind of been presented with some sort of truth that isn't from some government agency that is constantly withholding information, then maybe I'd believe more into it. But I think for right now, it's like I know there's the chance that it is, but I'm not putting it, out there at first.
Well, I think in this specific case, they probably released information to distract us from other information they're hiding. So I think in this case, they were probably truthful about it. I mean, UFOs are real, aliens exist, and from people that we know and love, and like some of our family, have seen UFOs and stuff like that. Now, I can't say for any of our family or friends or anything that they've seen aliens, but just the fact that the CIA is happy to give over that information, just one shows that there's some bigger picture that they're hiding, or some other agenda, and I don't think they're necessarily lying about it. Now, maybe there's a chance they would, just to stir up some conversation, get some people thinking, but I also don't think it would give them any advantage, with people going crazy about it, like, oh my gosh, aliens exist. I think like a good majority of people are just kind of like trying to convince themselves, getting on the boat where it was just like, I think I want to believe, but it's really hard to. And then boom, CIA or, whatever institution dropped that info, was just like, here it is, laid out for you, plain in black and white. And everyone was like, boom, see, I knew it. They went to the 60 other people that they've bragged about or tried to convince, and they were just, I was telling you, this is how it's going to be. So, I mean, for me, I'd like to think they put it out there because it was true. They've just been holding on to it. Now, I'm sure there will be another, 5, 4, 3 years from now, whatever, other information is going to come out that they've been hiding that, again, people are still talking about. Like what you were just going on about, the mind control, the telekinesis. And when you said mind control, it made me think of MK Ultra and that when that was going on back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And then maybe something like they put in Black Mirror, memory saving, with like the contact lenses where you can like swipe and scroll like through your memory, stuff like that. So among telekinesis and mind control, the memory saving and cognitive brain function performance is all stuff that I'm sure is going to be like a part of that next release of information. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I of all people really want to like have the truth. I've been taught with X-Files that the truth is out there. I literally have a poster right over here that says, I want to believe, with the UFO that was hanging in Mulder's office. So,
Nice.
I really want to believe all of this stuff because, well, it's neat, it's cool. And it's interesting. Yeah, it's definitely different. If anyone has watched X-Files out there, I'm a pretty big fan. I watch episodes here and there every now and again. And, the one that always gets me is when Mulder sneaks out to one of the airfields and is like watching like the pilots test one of the spaceships they have, essentially in Area 51, and he ends up getting caught, pulled in, and his memory wiped completely. It's an interesting episode, but that kind of touches on the idea of Area 51 and such. It's always been interesting. Like I want these aliens to come down and be like, "Yo, what up?"
Invite them. I bring them to a dinner party.
Dude, I'd invite them to the cookout. You know what I mean?
They deserve it.
Yeah.
they've waited long enough. They're a little shy. Well, guess what? I'm not going to be shy. Come on in, grab a drink, grab a chair.
Yeah, we got Modelo's, we got some limes. We can cut up some extra limes for them. They
Put 'em
got
on.
plenty of
Put 'em on.
space. They got plenty of space to drop down and land the ship. So that's all I'm saying. Or if they want, they can hover right above the house and then just shoot the little tractor beam and they can float down with it. You know what I mean?
All right.
Got plenty of room.
Specifically speaking of aliens tracking, shipping, what do you think is happening at Area 51 as far as those alien beings? Do you think they're like holding a couple captive? Do you think they built like a mini civilization for them underground or something? Like what's going on with the alien species over there at Area 51?
Well, if I learned anything from television, no. Truly what I think is if they do have any type of, alien species or beings on Area 51, knowing what the government does and what they're capable of doing, I'm sure they're doing any type of experimentation, conversation, questioning of any sort.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if they have any type of those species
If they have
within,
any aliens hanging out.
yeah, I'm sure there's some sort of experimentation, conversation of sorts of where they've been, what they're doing here,
Right.
why they are what they are, and then obviously doing their own research as well. And so even on top of that, of course, getting into their either spaceships, it's always a UFO or unidentified flying object.
Right.
Excuse me. It could be pretty much anything. And I'm not really sure what else they would be doing other than maybe testing out how their machinery works. Like what type of materials they're using, what is making their ship or whatever they use, to the ability to fly or whatever it might be. If that's the case, if we have a true understanding of what UFOs are and what aliens we've encountered or if people have encountered throughout the decades, and what they're actually hiding or storing away at Area 51. I mean, it could be a multitude of things, Obviously, it doesn't just have to be aliens. It could be anything else that they want to hide that is too big to keep in certain areas, in certain jurisdictions.
That's true. Well, hear me out. Now, this was something I was thinking about, too. All of the UFOs and strange life forms, weird glowy lights that people have seen, called in about, made up information on. What if everything that's happening at Area 51 is, like we've said in the past about how technology and the government have things and advancements in tech that is 10 years ahead of what we see and live within? Now, I'm wondering now if at Area 51 they're taking and putting together these ridiculous ships that they're just kind of testing out to maybe put together this facade. These ships that people see that aren't airplanes, or these other types of machinery that people are seeing out and about doing things, or beings, for example. Maybe people are dressing up. The question to you now is, how far do you think the government would go to be able to put on a show like that, so that way we're just thinking that these other beings are out there, that these other insane technological pieces of machinery, equipment, ships exist? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's quite, so like just in the essence of like, things that we use daily or heavy machinery, any types of like cruise ships, whatever it might be, the possibility of having alien tech already implemented in our lives like that.
Well, I guess that's not really what I was getting at. I guess that it might be another awesome topic to talk about. But what I'm thinking is that these aliens don't actually exist, but the people at Area 51 are putting on this facade, is what I'm saying. What do you think about that, is what I'm saying. So, for example, people build the ships, and they just have normal people flying them, but they're just trying to put on a show to get people to make calls, to get people to, go stir crazy, that type of thing. And then as far as like the life forms go, when people see aliens or maybe they see something in the woods or whatever, it's again someone just putting on, an outfit, a show, putting up something that isn't actually the case. And again, just trying to stir up people, get them talking, have opinions and rumors get spread beyond any reasonable belief. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's very much possible. I think, a lot of the time people find that they have memory wipes, or loss of memory in these certain situations where they have encountered like, alien life forms.
I've heard that too. Yes.
So these alien life forms could very much just be people. I think someone said it the best. It's ghosts you don't have to worry too much about. It's the people that you have to worry about.
Sure.
But I was talking about that exactly. Being that it could be people. I just remembered about the Men in Black, and people have cited them throughout the U.S. They're very much a real organization.
That's
you
interesting.
you are pretty much. I mean, it's nothing talked about, and who knows? Maybe it isn't a real organization, and it's just kind of like a thing thrown up. I don't mean to deviate from what you were asking.
No, I mean,
but
maybe that might be a good thought, because they could exist in Area 51. Maybe they have a secret organization that got built out of Area 51, and they've since dispersed around the nation.
Yeah, I felt like this might add to like the possibility of the facade put over it.
No, right?
Maybe
I mean,
there's.
they're the people to do it. If there was such a possible, of course, I'm sure they're called something else, but it could definitely be a real possibility. I can't really write anything off when we're talking about Area 51. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's I thought I saw an interview of a man that I don't know if he worked for the Men in Black or what he did, but he talked of them, and I mean the descriptions he gave about it. I mean, he spoke how you were no longer a U.S. citizen, you were no longer a citizen for that matter. Your name was completely wiped. You had no family. You were pretty much an enigma. Nothing. When you
around, old no name.
Yeah, when you were accepted into, or however you get into the Men in Black, you were essentially no one at that point, because of what you were dealing with in the top secret dealings. Sure. So it's very much possible that a lot of this stuff could be either made up to cover up something else, to distract. So like say someone is coming close to Area 51, kind of similar to the episode I was describing with the X-Files. It could just be like a facade put up, it's just like to distract from from getting anywhere close to the facilities, because anyone that gets on base is pretty much probably picked up and then thrown out pretty quickly. And if they see anything, then well, good luck. I really don't know what'll happen, but
people have probably been killed, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course, from our knowledge, we have no idea. I do remember a clip of someone like coming up to one of the entrances at Area 51, and this is real. Like it was a live stream. I guess it was some guy on like a motorcycle or something. He pulled up to one of the entrances, was just about to see if he can cross, and then from up on the hill he saw like a glint of a sniper scope. Kind of insane. Obviously, if he would have went in, I don't know if they would have done what they needed to do, or if they would have warned before, but there was plenty of signs and
shot,
such.
Yeah.
Even the main entrance to it is I think someone tried to do some Pokemon Go hunting over there or something back.
Oh my gosh.
A couple years back.
Well, they got someone posted up sniping for entrances, and that's probably just one entrance, and it might be like a faux entrance, something that's not actually meaningful, but it's something for outsiders to look at and be like, oh, let me go explore, and then they have a dude watching that. That's, if they have someone sitting there posted up on that, I can't imagine how much deeper it gets, because again, Area 51 we just know as this, as far as everything I've ever come to learn about it, it's just kind of like this testing facility for UFOs, maybe some new reactors or bombs or things like that, and then also weaponry. Of course, the aliens aside, they can have little sub-departments and stuff like that, but among all those things, any new tech, stuff like that, things that are out of our capable thought, I think it's just one of
Right.
those things where that's a person that's just out there ready to kill on command. He doesn't care. He doesn't know you. He'll shoot. It doesn't matter. And that alone already shows you how willing and able these people are, to be able to continue whatever project they're working on and to maintain a quota. For them, it's just, all right, here's the project that we've been working on for a few months. Here's what we need to do to protect this information, etc. And that one person is just one small cog in the machine, I feel like. But a big piece of the machine. You don't just have security that are always armed, going into a McDonald's, dude. Like, this is something that serious. This is like gated community type stuff. Don't trespass or else type situation.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's still a military base.
Absolutely.
I think any military base is going to be heavily guarded, and that's understandable considering what people are capable of. So even in this case in point, this infamous tale of Area 51 withholding information about, aliens and the like, or anything extraterrestrial of that sort. I'm sure it could be a whole facade, just people out in the desert seeing things or something like that. And it could just be any other normal military base. Now, this rear entrance that I saw, just to give a little bit more context into what it was, there really wasn't a gate to it. It was more or less a line stating, like, past this point is, property of the government, Area 51. Stated everything past a certain point. So it seems kind of strange. I don't know how truthful it is. It was a real video, so
Yeah.
take it, with a grain of salt. But also understand that if that is the case, then they have their intentions for it being that it still is a military base.
Right.
So even in the circumstance that there isn't anything there and it's just simply them guarding their military equipment or whatever the government is holding there, sure, that's completely understandable. But then you begin to wonder to what extent, are they, what are they doing to have someone, pushed to that extent? Most times it's usually just like a gate, and it's like there's a guy sitting in a booth, like protecting the entrance, usually one or two guys. Sure, they probably have weapons on them. I wouldn't underestimate that. But it seemed a little strange to me that there was someone on the hill posted up there. That's a little out of place. So again, take it with a grain of salt. It was a real video. I implore you to go look for the video yourself. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. But yeah, it's like, to what extent then is, like, what are you hiding in there that is so lethal to that extent,
Well, remember the Storm Area 51 party that was happening during COVID, I think?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all those people, like 100% people who are on the inside tracking information, stuff like that, knew this was coming. They
Oh, dude, months in advance for that matter.
if they were smart, they probably would have, charged some money for people to get into their less secret spot. Maybe just to go show them, like, the equivalent of Nuketown, from Call of Duty or something like that. They got to have one of those over there, a little bomb site or whatever. Because all their secret stuff, I'm sure, is a majority of it underground. Or if it's not underground, there's massive warehouses that are the size of, like Amazon warehouses or stuff like that are just huge. Like 5 airplane hangars worth of storage space or workspace, what have you.
I mean, dude, if I was the government, I would have, set up a hangar that they have out there, set it up so that they can walk into there, and then make it look like all the rest of the hangars are open, so that people can just kind of like walk by, or at least just look from where they're allowed to go in. And then, just completely disregard any, like, questions or whatever that the people are asking.
Yeah.
Like, let them in. And it's like, oh, okay, we can come in here. And then show them nothing. That would have been the, pulling the sheet right over their faces,
Well, do you remember whatever even happened with that little Storm Area 51 party? I think people ended up going, but I don't remember what happened after that.
I don't think anyone was able to storm the gates because of well, again, it's a military base. I don't think there was any success with actually storming Area 51.
Those people would have been mowed down, dude. They would have made it 3 feet, and that would have been it.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone has any information on that, if you went there, let us know.
Yeah. If you went there and you're listening, come talk to us. We want to know all about it.
But at least from my knowledge, I don't think anything really happened. I'm sure there's people that showed up. I'm sure they were waiting around, and I'm sure they did pretty much nothing.
Just camped out, just waiting to see if they could, see anything.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's interesting because I mean, like one of the big things that I enjoy about the Area 51 or the existence of aliens, I'll come back to it, is the Men in Black. Is just that interesting idea that they do exist, and there's videos of them too. Again, videos you take with a grain of salt. It could be real, it could be fake. It could be edited of sorts. But it's interesting to me, like the actual backstory of like Men in Black, and I implore everyone to look up. I can't remember the interview, but there was a man that was talking about the Men in Black, and I can't remember where I was watching it. I don't know if it was on the History Channel or like where it was.
Yeah.
But I would really look into it because this guy talks heavily about, I don't know if it was his own experience. It sounded like, I think it was his own experience within the Men in Black, sort of like a whistleblower. And it's truly interesting. I don't really want to get into it because I'll butcher it. It's been a while since I've seen the video. But I would definitely implore a lot of you, if you are interested, to look into it and try to find some information. And obviously you, Zach, if you're interested in it.
Yeah,
but
I'll have to go check that out. Well, because the Men in Black, as the movie and the idea of it, it's pretty cool. It's different. It's something that, again, with the people who get turned a blind eye towards, no one's really looking at. They just kind of take care of stuff in the background. No questions asked. Do their job. And then the memory wipe stuff, that is probably the most believable part about them. When things happen and people see it, boom, wiped. Moving on to the next thing. I think being able to maybe battle like alien life forms and stuff is probably the most far-fetched version of the Men in Black and their existence.
Right.
But as far as holding government secrets, keeping people accountable, for example, if there's people that were paid to stay silent and then they decided not to be silent anymore, taking care of those people and putting them, either, I don't know, I guess I can't imagine those people are surviving through that. They either get killed or, put in a safe house somewhere and then they have to live there until the end of their time or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's cool that the possibility of them being real is something that, especially if there's a story behind it from a dude who could or couldn't have been in it, that alone is just a little bit of a nudge in the right direction for making me a believer, at least.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing. You would think like, oh, well, the Men in Black is just a movie. No, it could be wholeheartedly real. Obviously I have no substantial facts.
Yeah.
But it's kind of neat to think that they could be real. Someone who just phases into everyday life. They wear simply just a black suit with a black tie, and they can pretty much be anyone. Descriptions of them are kind of much different than how they were depicted in, the movies. Some state that they're kind of just, they're completely bald, very pale in face. It's almost like they're not of this earth as well. That's some descriptions, and it seems like that one holds up within like the true tale of the Men in Black.
That's cool.
Which is interesting. Yeah, I think they look devoid of emotion and are completely, it's interesting. There's different descriptions.
A rabbit hole I'd jump into, that's for sure. And if anyone else has some information about it, send us the thoughts, send us the controversy, send us all of your videos that you come across. We want to hear everything about Area 51.
Yeah, I was gonna say we would love any more information. Anything. I mean, just let us know anything.
Anything.
You got any info, just tell us. You know how to make a hamburger? Cool.
Actually, now that you say that.
I know I could use a good hamburger. But on that note, I think we'll wrap up today's episode with a nice exit out of here. So thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, if you're listening on YouTube, check us out on Spotify. If you listen on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you all so much again. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Until next time, peace.